Nick Hue.
And I'm Sara Falco, and this is Huewav,
where we spark conversation with creators to discuss who they are, what they do, and why they do it.
Today we're here with Haitian musician Gaël, who's currently based in Brooklyn, to talk about his new project and his music career.
Thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm excited about your album. It was cool to see the process and to see it finally come out.
Yeah, I mean, you were there through a lot of it, for sure. So not many people got to actually see, like, the behind-the-scenes stuff.
I didn't even realize, like, without knowing, I was seeing some of it come together just from you shooting the videos.
Yeah, that's fire, dude. I didn't know that either.
We came, like, full circle. Like, because Sara and I, all the time, we always bounce, like, our ideas back and forth.
People like that, too. I mean, that goes back to the whole relationship thing. You feel me? Like, bro, I could not have put this project together by myself, like, at all. Just no way.
Yeah, I think it's really important when you have that, like, inner circle. I saw something recently, actually. It was, like, talking about how with feedback, and you can ask one person for feedback, and they'll tell you one thing, and maybe you ask a few more people until you hear what you want to hear, and then the more you grow that circle, the more the feedback changes, and you're having people tell you what they want to hear, what you want to hear. But when you have, like, that just tight circle of, like, people you can trust their feedback, that's, like, so important. Sara's definitely part of that circle for me.
Yeah.
So, like, I know I saw, like, some of those videos coming together. And I think even a few years back, actually, I think you were editing, not for this release, but you were editing one of the videos, I think, at my old house in the backyard.
Oh.
Like one of the earlier videos.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah, probably Promised Land or something like that.
I think so. It's like a yellow hoodie, right?
Oh, yeah, with that shirt, actually.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's a shirt I got from Urban Outfitters, and I don't shop there anymore except for, like, jeans or whatever, because no matter how cool their, like, hoodies or whatever, or even expensive, they mass produce that shit so much, you are bound to find somebody on the subway with the same hoodie and stuff like that. So I don't like this shirt anymore. I'm probably never going to wear it, but I actually have it hanging in the room just because it's the first video I ever shot.
Nice.
It's like a video prop.
Yeah, I'm super into, like, memorabilia type, like, in my own career type stuff. Like, I like to keep stuff from my first performances. I have some shoes that I don't even, like, I have one pair of shoes that I don't wear anymore, but I mean, I still like it. I just kind of not really my style right now, but I wore it at my first, the first time I really felt like I killed, like, a live performance at college. It was pretty fire. The whole crowd was engaged. It was probably, like, my favorite performance I've had so far. It was definitely at the beginning. I didn't know exactly what I was doing, which is why it was just kind of a thrill of just, like, being anxious, but also, like, I know that I put in work, so I'm super confident in my music. So, and I had a couple performances under my belt and had some awkward, like, cable unplugged in the middle of performance stuff that I already dealt with. So I was just kind of like, it was the first time I really relaxed and, like, performed and just, like, enjoyed the crap out of it. So yeah, I kept the shoes from that. So I'm super into, like, stuff like that.
I totally get that, like, that sentimental mindset. Like, I still have I don't use it anymore, but I have, like, my first laptop that, like, I started doing design work on, and I feel weird to let it go, just knowing, like, how much progress was made, like, during those years that I had that.
My first mic is broken, bro. And I was gonna get it fixed, and then I ended up getting gifted this nicer mic, and I ended up never fixing it. But, like, it's in my, like, in my drawer.
Yeah, you gotta hold on to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah. That's crazy. I was thinking about that first video. That's before you even moved to New York, right?
Yeah, I was in college still. It was 2018.
Wow.
Yeah, it was definitely. Wait, was it 2018? I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was definitely 2018. I remember now. Because I had just dropped out of school, so I was just kind of not doing anything on campus. But I actually learned how to cook, like, a lot at the time. But that's another story. But I came to New York to visit my brother for his birthday, and we met at Tilly's at my brother's dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Briefly.
That's right. Yeah.
And then I ended up staying longer because I didn't have to go back to school. Spring break was over, but, like, I just ended up staying longer. And you had a showing at this gallery, and then I went there, and then you told me you were starting to shoot music videos and you really wanted, like, to do more stuff. And then my brother, I told you, and that he had played my music when you were assisting him one time. And then yeah, that prompted me to stay an extra week. And then after that happened, my brother, who had been trying to convince me to move to New York once I graduated, which was the plan at the time. But once that happened, like I knew once I wasn't in school anymore, like for sure I was coming to New York. Cause like, I don't know, I guess I had never seen like the art scene firsthand in any way, shape or form, except through my brother telling me stuff. So really that was kind of like a chance thing that happened.
Definitely on my end too. That music video was like cool. The way it just came together.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely started a direction for me.
I forgot to bring a coat. That was a terrible mistake.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's funny, right? Because in the video, nobody can tell, but I was freezing my off. But yeah, it was a fun shoot for sure.
And remind me, how long before that did you start music?
When I was 14, I'm pretty sure I was 14 years old. I was in, I think, my freshman year of high school, and I was like super into Lil Wayne at the time. It was either the end of my 8th grade year or the beginning of my freshman year of high school, but I'm pretty sure it was high school. And I was a big fan of Rajon Rondo, who was a point guard for the Boston Celtics at the time. And I lived in Boston. I had moved there after the earthquake. And I was already a Celtics fan before the earthquake. So it was kind of like, oh, I live in the city now. So like I can even like rep even more. And I remember there was a Lil Wayne song at the time about Kobe Bryant. God bless his soul. And it was a Lil Wayne song. And at the time I was obsessed with Lil Wayne and like how clever his wordplay was and just like how he just made like language so fun. And I just thought that was like super impressive. So I guess I was super into Rondo and basketball at the time. So like, and I guess Lil Wayne. So I decided to like write something. I don't know what really made me do that. I wrote like a 8-bar little verse about Rondo. And I remember, the only thing I remember from it is there was like a reference to his, I think something like his game being sweeter than Pop-Tarts or something. It was terrible. It was awful. But I was like trying so hard to do like metaphors and stuff. But that's when it started. And I showed it to my brother, and like I guess like it was like he wasn't like impressed, but it was just like funny and surprising because he was like, "Since when do you write stuff?" And then yeah, I just kept doing it because it was fun, and it was only about fun all the way up to I think early college when I started getting I got injured end of high school playing basketball, and then I started realizing it was going to get harder to play basketball. Even I wanted to play professionally overseas at some point. That was kind of like my dream at the time. That was definitely my dream at the time. And I got injured my 11th grade year, barely played my senior year. I got to college, spent my freshman year recovering. Sophomore year, I was completely ready to play it. Best basketball I was playing. That was probably the best, the highest level I was ever at. And then I dislocated my shoulder really bad, like a bunch of times. So then basketball just became out of the picture. And then I just started rapping more. And I got like really depressed because I didn't know how to. I knew that I wanted to convey my feelings into the music. And I just didn't know how, because even the stuff I was writing for fun wasn't very good. So like I hadn't really mastered like me communicating, the way I feel and stuff. So especially like making it rhyme and making it like actually like nice to hear, people wanting to listen to it and making it relatable. And I got really depressed for a while during my sophomore year. That's when I actually started smoking, funnily enough, but completely unrelated to my depression. I only started smoking because I didn't smoke and drink before, because basketball was like, my body was like, I was trying to make sure my body was on point for basketball. But once that wasn't a thing, like I had tried it once before and it was cool. So yeah, that ended up happening. But yeah, that year, a lot of stuff changed. My personality, not for the better. And then the summer after sophomore year, I did an internship at this power plant in Haiti. I was doing engineering at the time. It was terrible. I lost 20 pounds that month, just like how depressed I was. And after quitting halfway through the internship, I still got a stipend, so it was cool. And I got Jordan. And after the internship was over, well, for me at least, I started looking into like, I remember I wanted to listen to some Joey Badass just because I needed to listen to something like aggressive and just kind of like, just that hit like some really like hard hitting hip hop. And I remembered that my roommate at the time, like from school, was like obsessed with Joey Badass. So, and I started thinking of songs that I used to play. So I started with Christ Conscious. That was a really hard hitting song. And then YouTube suggested this other song to me called Paper Trails. And I remember liking how the title was written because you could replace S with a $sign. So I was like, okay, let's see what that's about. So I clicked that, and literally that song, like the first chord played and he spit the first bar. And literally, I don't know what happened to this day. I don't know. I mean, I definitely think it's related to all the work I put in before, but at that moment, like something in my head clicked. I don't know what it was, but at that moment, I just like magically knew how to rap, like for real. Like I didn't know how. It was weird. It literally felt like a supernatural thing. And obviously, I wasn't like as good as I am now, but it was. Like I was legit. Like it was like I gained a talent that I felt like I didn't have before. It was weird. And yeah, I started writing, and I remember like gross, but I spent like 7 days after that without showering, and I wrote 11 songs that week. I remember it was crazy. I hadn't written a full song before, like for real. So like I wrote like 11 songs, all of which were like actually tackling things I was thinking, like real things. Like it was just like, I remember at the time it was around when Philando Castile had been brutally murdered by a piece of cop. And I was having nightmares at the time. I even wrote something about those nightmares and how I was feeling unsafe as a Black man in America, and things that like I had always felt or thought about that I couldn't find a way to express. And then all of a sudden I just kind of like it was like a new part of myself that I could tap into. And I think that's when everything kind of like changed. I think, in terms of like me becoming like all about music. So I think that was, summer 2016 would be the short answer. But yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
I think like that experience that you described, just like going into that like mindset where you just write, or you just create just in general so much in just that short period of time. You go into this like, you're not even looking at the time, you're not even like aware of like what's going on, you're just creating, and it's just like a constant flow. That's like when some of the best work comes out.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy because I mean, the only reason I even realized what was happening is because my mom came in one day after work and just barged in the room, and she was like, "I haven't seen you all week." She's like, "Why does your room smell so bad?" I remember that's literally what she said to me. I mean, I was in Haiti, bro, tropical climate, it's hot as over there. But anyway, she literally comes in and she's like, "Have you showered?" And that's when I like took a break. And that's when it really hit me. And I was like, yo, I really just spent the last week I was really, it was really hard to believe. I couldn't really understand, but I didn't really spend much time trying to figure it out. I was just kind of writing and writing. It was like having a new toy. It was kind of crazy. I think, honestly, although, that moment, that's when I realized that I could do this, that I could rap for real. It's far from the best stuff I wrote. Like at this point, I look back at that and I put something out. I put like, I think 6 of those songs out, took them down for like a week after I realized like, no, I don't want to put anything that's not impressive. Like I wasn't impressed by those. I was just surprised that it was legitimately rap. Like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't where I wanted it to be. So I just decided to put my head down at work. And I did that as much as I could. Put out an album in 2018. That was the first project I put out when I felt like my music was ready to be heard. And then, it started like going downhill. I mean, I started performing a lot, which was great. But creatively speaking, it was going downhill because school was just suffocating me. I was having a lot of anxiety attacks. just a lot of issues, some issues in my personal life, just crazy stuff. And yeah, I think at that point I realized it was about time for me to leave school. And I already, like I told you guys previously before we're recording, how that experience meeting Sara and shooting last minute like that and feeling like a rush creatively. So a combination of that had been brewing for like a year and a half, and the fact that I like just couldn't do it anymore. And then not a year and a half, sorry. After I met Sara, it was about half a year of me like dealing with this and realizing, yeah, I was definitely not going. I'm dropping out and realizing I was definitely not going back to school. So yeah, and then that led me to here, and all that to say that I now it's gone to a point where I can't even tell the difference. You remember I talked about how I could tap into a certain part of myself that I couldn't have access to before. It's gotten to a point where now I'm more that part of myself than anything else. Like, it's consumed me to a point where I don't really know anything else outside of music, which can sound dangerous, but I'm young. I'm trying to figure it out. But like at this point, it genuinely feels like the music has become its own thing and kind of like bigger than me and has like overtaken me. And it's great, but it's like it can be stressful and anxious. It can make me really anxious and like has its ups and its downs, but it's like a super powerful thing. And I definitely don't take that for granted. And COVID is making it hard because I've had to bottle all that up literally by being stuck inside a box in this house. But I'm excited for, what the future has to hold in terms of like hopefully getting out there and connecting with people and just spreading my message and just like continuing to push. Because yeah, this project, I'm super proud of it. I'm really excited to like perform it and show the world what I got.
You had mentioned like not being able to initially like tap into those emotions and convey those feelings, and I think by now it's very clear that you figured that out. Listening to Black Denim, you talk about demons and changing the way you deal with them and stomping on them, and I feel like, in my opinion, at least listening to it, there's a lot of emotion shines through.
Yeah, for sure.
You can tell in this album that you're definitely like, I'm all in it. Like, this is 100% like what I'm doing, and there's no plan B, which I think is really awesome.
I think that's really important. Like you had said, like, it might feel dangerous to, know nothing outside of music, but at the same time, if you know that that's what you want to do, like that's what you can do, like you'll do it.
Absolutely. That's how I look at it. And I think realizing that how to handle those emotions and like putting those out, I think that was like my main focus with this record. Not like to figure out how to do that, but I feel like I've dealt with so much in the past couple, like maybe 3-4 years, that I feel like I'm here, so I clearly can overcome things. So it's just a matter of channeling it and like putting it in one place. That's kind of like what I see this album as, like this box of like to remind me like I got this. So it's funny that it conveyed my full dedication to music to you, like that I'm completely in it now, because like I said, it's one thing, right? So since my focus was to convey that I'm fully dedicated to my mental health recovery and that I'm going to be okay and like I'm going to be good and kill all my demons, it automatically, like, I feel like transpires into my dedication to music because there's no difference. Because, you know what I mean? Like, I went into it saying I'm going to beat my demons and stomp on them. And although you got that message too, you also got, oh, he's all in this music. He's going to stomp on his obstacles and industry. And that wasn't my focus, but it's just, they're just kind of like both related. So, yeah, I just thought that was a really interesting point. Yeah, because that was not my goal, but it's a dope byproduct, I think.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And I think you're right. Like, they kind of go hand in hand in certain ways.
It just comes off as like a very flushed out project, full speed ahead. This is the vibe I get from it.
Yeah, bro. It was a lot of work. And in terms of even sonically, it's sounding so professional. I have to give props to my engineer and my producer. Like, this isn't just my album, not even just like as an idea. This is literally, we put it out as a collaborative album. This is an album by me and my producer Steve, who goes by Billa Joints, just Billa for short. And like the way we put this together, it was like super organic and natural, and like the dedication we both have. Like I've never met anyone else with that type of drive in terms of like in the music world, at least. And it was kind of refreshing and surprising, and like the way we met, him reaching out, it was just like, it was just the perfect timing and the perfect chemistry to like create this project. Everything from it, like the it was a perfect backdrop for me to say what I needed to say in the way that I wanted to say it.
You guys had only met, you had said about a year ago, right? Did you want to talk about like how you guys came to working together?
He hit me up on Instagram, and like we were supposed, so basically I think he hit me up first, and he told me that, like, I think he reposted something, and you know when you tag somebody on Instagram and you repost, they get it into their like message, like a direct message. So I saw it and I was like, oh, thanks for showing love or whatever. And he I think liked my comment, and he was like, yeah, it's fire or something. And then he told me he had a studio if I ever needed like time, a studio time, to hit him up, whatever. So I remember thinking, okay, a lot of people I meet aren't up to my standards, whether it be how dedicated they are or some, and even when they are as good or even better than me, like in my opinion, like I think they always miss that like obsession that I'm always looking for or whatever. So I was trying not to get my hopes up, but I was being smart, and I was like, okay, this is a studio. He has a studio. I need somebody to record me right now because I was having some issues with my equipment, and I was like, I need somebody to record me now. So I'm just gonna hit him up and see what's up, even if it doesn't come to like a partnership or like anything at all, which I wasn't really thinking about. I was just like, I just need some studio time, so it'd be a good connection to have. So I hit him up. I was like, yeah, I need some studio time, and thanks for showing love again. And he was like, yeah, I got beats for you. And I was like skeptical, but I was like, cool. And he told me he has a home studio. We talked about meeting up, and he told me that he couldn't, and that at the time, because it was like around Christmas time, he was going back home. And I was home too, actually. So it was like perfect. We said we would meet up when we come back. So we came in January. Well, actually before that, funny enough, the way he like basically told me that he was like serious about working was, he said literally, and I quote, I need you on some because you got bars. Not that often. It's not that often that I'm really impressed by rappers, to be honest, but your lyrics are fire. And I was like, it was funny because I feel like some people might see that as like kind of like a bold thing to say, like I'm not usually impressed, like kind of to say to somebody you just are talking to. But I kind of resonate with that because like I talk like that, I act like that. So it was kind of like the first moment where I was like, oh. Yeah, I was like, I like this kid. Like, I mean, not kid, he's older than me, but like 7 years. But still, I was like, yo, I like this dude. So we ended up linking for real. I brought a friend with me, my boy Wes, who's actually one of my best friends, and he's like one of my biggest in terms of music. Like he just has shown me so much. He's not even a musician, but has a very diverse like ear. Like he just listens to so much stuff. So he showed me like opened my eyes to stuff that I used to look down on, and showed me how to look at music with different perspectives and stuff. So I really respect him, whatever. I was like, yo, let's go link up with this guy. We're going to try to make something happen. So we go over there, spend about 3 hours working. Nothing happens. We're just going through stuff and through a couple beats, samples, nothing's clicking. Then he decides to just like scrap everything, and he opens like a sample pack and starts going through them. We're listening, we're skipping, we don't like them, we don't like this one, we keep going. And then there's one that he barely listens to and skips it. And I was like, wait, hold up. He goes back to that, and it was like a siren. And we brought it to the recording software to start like maybe like, not the recording software, sorry, the producing software to start like messing with it and see what we could do with that sample. It wasn't working for a little bit. Then he had an idea and decided to flip it backwards. And then when he did that, it just changed everything. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, that was pretty cool. All right, let's see where that goes. And then and that was the first song of the project. That was Gold Teeth. Like the way that happened, it was basically, yeah, at that moment, he reversed the sample, brought the drums in, and it was just like sounding great. And he pulled out like the crazy, like the dirty bass that you hear in the intro track, like the
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
It's
never heard
crazy.
anything like that except for like maybe like it reminded me of some like Yeezus, Kanye, like some like aggressive like that's just not common mainstream rap, and I just like it just hit me, bro, and I was like, whoa. And I remember looking at Wesley at the time. That's when we were like, yo, I think like I found him, like this is the dude I need to like link up with, and like, you know, put my face down with and just like grind. So then yeah, we linked. I left with that beat, started working on it. He actually did like a solo at the time. That's what gave us the idea. He did a freestyle solo, different one from the one that's on the album, but that gave us the idea. And yeah, I kind of like had this like kind of mumbled the hook at the time with some of the words that are currently in it, but like just like mumbled the idea. Left with it, and then we ended up meeting up. Then did the second song, third song. Then next thing you know, we had like over, I don't know, man. Now we have like 20 something songs. Not like, you know, when artists say that, take it with a grain of salt. They don't mean for like artists be like, I have 150 songs. That doesn't mean 150 completed, ready to release songs. But, you know, we have over 20 songs for sure that, and I would say a majority of will see the light of day within the next year or two.
That's awesome. That's really exciting.
I love to hear that rather than just them getting scrapped or just left as demos.
For me, the idea is the stuff I write really matters to me. So I can tell usually when something's going to become a song, whether I end up scrapping the beat, changing stuff, whatever. But the idea is not going to go away. Like I'm still going to, you know, HYRD, which is the 5th track on the record, before the outro and the outro. It's I actually wrote that in the spring of 2019, and I couldn't finish it. And I was performing it. And when I moved to New York in July, in the summer, I was performing it at like open mics during the fall. I was doing all that. And then I kind of stopped performing. I got tired of it because I couldn't finish it. I would literally tell the crowd, like I would make a joke about, okay, so this all I got. Like in the middle of them being like captivated and like enjoying the song. So it was like, I would do that all the time and just tell them, yeah, I can't finish it. I've been trying for like a year, blah, blah, blah. And then I met my homie Corey, who's actually a comedian. He has this collective called Brooklyn Raw. He's in Manhattan Raw. He's a dope comedian, dude from Detroit, and he's the one who came to talk to me because he was like really hit by the song, and he told me how he felt about it and how he felt about my words and just kind of like pushed me when I heard that, and I got really inspired to finish that song. I mean, I got really inspired to start listening to that song and performing it a lot more, and then eventually it just clicked, and then I finished my part. And then as for the Julian, great artist who actually finished who does the outro on that song, he heard the beat on Steve's. He heard the beat that Steve had remade for me. Like I said, I wrote this in like 2019, way before I met Steve, like months, almost a year before I met Steve. And he remade the beat, so he had it on his story, and Julian saw it, and Julian wanted it, but Steve told him it was for me, but we just offered Julian the spot because I was just like, yo, this dude's great, so let's see what's up. So see, it's just like a lot of like just organic.
Yeah, I think that collaboration worked really well too. That's one of my favorite tracks off the record. The fact that he just wanted that beat for himself and then you could turn it into that is really, really cool.
Yeah, because Steve told him, Steve was like, yeah, it's Gaël's, and then he sent it to me. I was like, bro, does he want to get on it? And Steve was like, would you mind? I was like, no. So we asked him, and he was like, hell yeah. And then within like 3 days, I think he sent us like a demo, and then we like with it, and then he just like kept sending us better versions until he refined it. Like he was great to work with. That was incredible.
Stuff like that's great to hear.
You have a lot of collaborations with singers on your album too, which I think is like awesome.
Yeah, the thing for me is I want to sing more. I work on my vocals daily, and I don't coach or anything, but I pay very close attention to my vocals and my pitch. But what ends up happening is a lot of records that I work on, especially for the last year working with Steve, a lot of melodic stuff comes to me. So I end up writing it or recording it and like having to, you know, either some of the songs, like Julian, Shalom, and Alex wrote their parts on. They wrote their parts on their songs, but there's a song, for example, the song "Free." Alex wrote the hook on that, but on the outro, I wrote the hook. It's one line, but it was like one line that I wrote, and like I thought of that a way it would go, but like there was no way in hell I was singing it. Like the way I imagined it, like it had to be her or somebody like that. So I don't fight my ideas too much. Like I'm not like, oh, there's too many features on this album. I'm like, no. Like I need like this. The way I hear it, the way I know it's supposed to sound, I will put my ego to the side every time for the music to be better. I don't care. Like the music is more important than me.
Yeah, that's awesome. How does Billa feel about the release? Is he excited?
Oh yeah, he's super excited. The only difference between he and I is that he's super busy. Like he's really busy. So and he like teaches guitar too. So he has like a lot on his plate. So we talk pretty much every day, but like on text. But like in terms of like checking on how the record's doing and like planning for future videos and stuff, I do most of the like, you know, in the like front stuff. Like he's just in the background. So yeah, we just talk about our plans and future releases and stuff like that. We're already like back to work and stuff. He's actually sent me a beat back yesterday that I was going through. So
there's more on the way.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff planned for the year. I'm taking a little break in terms of dropping stuff, not in terms of working. I'm never done working, but in terms of releasing, I'm gonna take a couple months off, and I should be back for the summer with some fire.
That's exciting. That's great to hear. So I know we're in January, starting a new year.
Indeed.
Would you say like your music brought you any important lessons last year?
That's a great question. I think, you know, I mean, I was so focused on getting this record done. I feel like I somewhat let myself, that's kind of like a negative aspect, is just not maybe paying attention to what I need outside of music. And I think that's a lesson I learned, is to just like focus more on that, because I've never had a project so intense that I was so focused on it, lost. And I have to remind myself that I'm still like, not just music. Like I gotta take care of myself, my body, my eating habits, my health, my relationships with my family, my girlfriend, etc.
I feel like the pandemic really hit that home for me too. Like I had the chance to slow down, and then before I picked back up, like I realized like, oh man, I gotta like take care of myself and like make sure I'm good before I'm putting good stuff out, you know?
Facts.
Yeah, I had a similar experience, because and I think a lot of creative people did this year, and I honestly love to see that last year now. I was very much like the type of person where I don't like to like give myself a day off. You know, I graduated in the spring, but like even school or even then just with work, and I feel like I need to be working at all hours of every day, on the weekends, you know, on whatever, working at night, early, late, and to not let yourself have that break. Like you don't realize like everything else going on around you, like you had mentioned, like family, friends, and your own health. And in this pandemic where, you know, my social life was going to shows, so that went out the window for now. And just not going to school anymore, working from home, I really like let myself go a little bit in the beginning. Like for a few months, like it was just horrible, mentally trying to process everything that was happening. And then I slowly, with the encouragement of some friends, turned that into like exercising every day, trying to eat better, giving myself days off, focusing on better sleep schedule. And I've just like kept that energy up, and I feel like I'm a completely different person than I was last January.
No, I feel that. I think for me, it got to the point where even when I wasn't working, like I was, like I said, there was like obstacles and stuff like that. So even when I had nothing to do and I could relax, like I would have tabs open and I'd watch a show on Netflix, and within like 5 minutes, I'd be like, all right, let me check my email. Like, let me see if I got something, like, you know, or let me try to conceptualize an idea. Like, do I want to do performance videos? Do I want to, or sometimes, like, Sarah, sometimes I literally, like, when I hit you up and I'm like, yo, and I hit you with an idea, that ideally came to me that very moment. Like, I literally just be like there, like, and it just like start spiraling, and then like I'm like, oh, I need to write this down, or like send it to someone. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, let me send a voice note to Sarah real quick. Like, it'll be like super, it'll be really intense. Like, be like when I send you that text or that message, like it's like a super intense moment before that of like me, like just always like feeling like I wish I was just like doing something musically, like related. It's just like having craving to work and do it, but like literally not being able to. And instead of relaxing, literally just kind of like wallowing in that. And yeah, I think I could have done a better job, and I think that's where my mind is at right now, like really focusing on that, because it's sometimes I get caught up in the profound and like the deep, and I don't think about like, you know, like surface level that needs to get addressed, you know?
Yeah, I had that feeling a little bit like at the end of the year, just kind of like, oh, I feel like I didn't do enough last year. Like, you know what? Like, just forget about it. Like, you know, a lot happened, and just try to take a new approach. You know, started with this podcast. I've been trying to do a lot more with just my own freelance stuff, as well as trying to grow that and focus on that, and, you know, not let the same feeling come around next year.
Facts.
I guess we're kind of coming to a close, but thank you so much for being our very first guest ever.
That's fired. Like,
I can't say thank you enough for just being on the show and trusting us and letting us, you know, just run with this show and being our first guest. And thank you again for your time as well.
Sure. I mean, I'd be glad to be back even when I don't have releases. I love talking. So.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to mention too, the cover art is beautiful. I don't know who made it, but it's really nice.
That's my homie Christine Choi. She's lives in Philly. She's a homie. She's like, okay, so basically the way we connected is her little sister and I went to college together, and we knew each other like earlier in college through friends. And as you know, as you go through like college, people transfer, people like as like the groups winnow down or whatever, we somehow ended up to be like really, really close towards the end of my college years. And so she actually graduated. She's a dietitian. She's like fire. This woman doing her thing. And she introduced me to her sister. She actually I reposted her sister. And I remember actually yelling at her kind of like, because she reposted her sister and never really told me anything about it. Her sister's page. And I was like, yo, who's this dope artist? And I found out that was her sister at the time. And I was like, why would you not tell me that? She was like, oh, I didn't know if you would like it. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, oh, I know she's great. Like, you're kind of harsh and stuff. And I was like, well, yeah, and this is fire. So we started working. She did a cover for me in, I think, April or March for the song More. And it was great. It was cool. And then I was like brainstorming a lot of ideas for the cover art of the album as I was like trying to finish the record and stuff. And then one day I was at the airport, I remember, and I was waiting for my Uber, and she had just posted something. She had just posted a drawing on her Instagram, and like I could tell, I knew she was great already, but like I knew that I wanted the cover art to have some kind of like venture movie, like video game type vibe, like hero type vibe of me like defeating all these like demons and obstacles and stuff with Steve's help and shit, and the music's help and stuff. And so when I saw her like do a drawing of like it was like a person's body, and it was like there was like detail, there was like a lot of detail in that photo, and I knew it was her. I literally hit her up right away. I was like, I need you to do the cover art of the album. Like, I liked the photo, sent it to her. I was like, I love this. You need to do the cover of the art of the album. And yeah, she gave me an incredible price. It was a lot of work. She's so dope in terms of like ideas, and I give her a lot of free range too. But if I have anything I don't like or I want to change something, she never took anything personally. It was like super easy to work with, like incredible. And she ended up even adding, like doing the track list without me. It was her idea, basically. Like she had that. So like the track list design and everything. So yeah, just like I said, man, it just comes down to relationships. Like I will continue to say that till I fucking die. Like when I'm hopefully a mogul like Jay-Z and I'm like trying to inspire some young minds, like that's one thing I will fucking press on them. Like relationships are not to be taken for granted. Like especially especially in life, obviously in personal lives, but professionally people forget that shit.
Yeah, and everyone I'm really close with and making stuff with is people that I met like a long time ago and that I'm still like working with, and we're still growing, which is really dope.
Fire. But yeah, thanks for having me though. I had so much fun.
Thank you for listening to Huewav Podcast.
You can follow the show on social media at Huewav Podcast to stay up to date with the latest episodes. We'll see you next time.
Peace.